Welcome to this calming explainer on the flow state. So, if you've been scrolling through the news lately, you've probably seen some pretty alarming headlines about the new world screwworm. Words like flesh eating and outbreak are getting thrown around a lot right now. And look, as pet owners or livestock caretakers, it is completely natural to feel a bit of anxiety about that. But let's all just take a deep breath. Today, we're going to unpack these headlines and focus entirely on practical, reassuring steps to keep your animals safe. We're going to replace all that fear with structured, actionable knowledge. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the current situation, understand the parasite, look at warning signs to watch, FDA-authorized treatments, effective prevention, and official contacts, and an action plan. All right, Section 1, the current situation and tracking the outbreak. Right off the bat, I want to give you some peace of mind. We are talking about really small numbers here. Currently, there are at least 5 confirmed cases involving livestock and just 1 traveling dog. Now, the initial detection happened in Zavala County, Texas. That's about 30 miles northeast of the Mexican border, and officials immediately set up a quarantine perimeter. Since then, cases popped up slightly outside that zone, like a goat in Gillespie County and a calf in LaSalle County. The really interesting detail is the dog, actually. That dog was a traveler from New Mexico, which marked the first case there. So yes, it has spread slightly beyond the initial perimeter, but the overall numbers remain incredibly low.
I think this quote brilliantly captures the exact mindset we should have today. Local veterinarians have been emphasizing to the news that this is absolutely not a widespread epidemic. This isn't some kind of new COVID-19 for pets. It's a highly localized situation where just a little bit of calm precaution goes a really long way. Basically, if you have outdoor animals, keeping a closer eye on them is the main takeaway here.
Moving on to Section 2, understanding the parasite and the 21-day life cycle. Knowing exactly what we're dealing with biologically is the best way to just remove the fear of the unknown, right? The New World Screwworm operates on a simple, fast 21-day life cycle. It starts when a female fly, which honestly looks pretty much like your standard housefly, smells blood and is drawn to a wound. She then lays anywhere from 200 to 300 eggs right at the edge of that wound. And here is where the speed really matters. Those eggs hatch into larvae in just 12 hours. The larvae feed, grow, and then drop off to burrow into the ground where they pupate and emerge as new flies to start the whole thing over. Because one fly can turn into thousands in literally a few weeks, early intervention is absolutely our best tool to break the cycle. Now, the absolutely crucial point is understanding this term, obligate parasite. When the media uses the phrase flesh eating, it sounds like something straight out of a horror movie. But clinically, it just means these larvae are obligate parasites. They strictly require living, healthy tissue to feed on, which is different from normal maggots that only feed on dead tissue. They use these tiny mouth hooks to burrow in. And yeah, while that sounds pretty unpleasant, understanding the biology is actually empowering. It means that if you spot them early and stop them from feeding on that live tissue, you completely halt the damage. Let's dive into Section 3, warning signs to watch and protecting your pets and livestock. The female fly is basically a total opportunist looking for an entry point. So you want to routinely inspect your pets and livestock. And remember, you aren't just looking for major injuries. Literally a tiny scratch or a recent tick bite can attract a fly. If your dog has a hot spot or maybe you have a breed with those deep skin folds, definitely check those areas. For the livestock owners tuning in, pay special attention to the umbilicus, the belly button, on newborn calves or lambs. And of course, keep an eye on natural body openings or recent surgical incisions. It really just takes a quick daily once-over while you're petting or grooming them. Now, if one of those entry points actually leads to an infestation, you are going to notice it pretty quickly. Because the larvae are actively feeding, the wound will literally appear to be getting larger instead of healing. You might pick up on a distinct foul odor or see excessive drainage and swelling. You might even see egg clusters or the visible movement of the larvae themselves. But honestly, the most common early behavioral sign is your pet persistently licking, chewing, or just acting super distressed about a specific area on their body. If they won't leave a spot alone, it's definitely time to take a closer look. All right, Section 4, FDA-authorized treatments and highly effective veterinary solutions. If you do spot something concerning, please don't panic. The incredible news here is just how fast science has responded to this. The FDA rapidly issued emergency use authorizations and conditional approvals for a whole variety of highly effective treatments. For our dogs and cats, we're talking oral chewables like Credelio, NexGard, and Nitinpyram tablets. For livestock, farmers have access to injectable solutions like Dectomax and Ivomec. There are even topical sprays and ointments like the F10 antiseptic barrier, authorized for horses, cattle, and even exotic animals and birds. So we are definitely not defenseless against this. Your vet has an entire arsenal of proven medications ready to go.
Which brings us to Section 5, Effective Prevention, Your Best Defense.
Treating an issue is great, but obviously preventing it is way better. And the absolute best news of this entire explainer is that the ultimate prevention strategy is probably something you're already doing. As Dr. Kate Eldon says here, keeping your pets on routine, year-round prescription flea and tick preventatives from the isoxazoline class effectively stops the screwworm dead in its tracks. Products like Simparica Trio, NexGard Plus, and Credelio Quattro, they don't just stop the itchy flea and tick bites that cause wounds in the first place. They actively protect against screwworm infestation. If you're keeping up with your pet's monthly meds, you are already providing an incredibly strong shield.
Finally, Section 6, Official Contacts and Action Plan. To wrap up our debrief today, let's go over exactly what to do if you ever suspect an issue. If you notice any suspicious wounds, a foul odor, or visible larvae, step 1 is simple: stay calm. Immediately contact your local veterinarian so they can utilize those FDA-approved treatments we just walked through. Step 2, because this affects agriculture and livestock, it's actually a reportable disease in certain cases. So if you live in or near the affected regions, be sure to notify the Texas Animal Health Commission right away so they can track it. And just as a quick side note, human cases are incredibly rare because of our hygiene habits, but if you ever suspect an issue on yourself, just call your personal doctor. So by understanding the biology, knowing the signs, and keeping up with those routine preventatives, you have absolutely nothing to fear. I truly hope this explainer brought you some peace of mind and clarity today. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the Flow State for more calming, structured, and fact-based information. But before you go, I want to leave you with this. Are you absolutely certain your current flea and tick medication belongs to that isoxazoline class? Do me a favor, check your pet's medication labels tonight and let me know what you find in the comments below. Stay calm, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next explainer.